October the 1st. Probably this is now going to be one of my favourite months of the year, but welcome at long last everyone back to another season of Hedgehog Month, the second ever Hedgehog Month, and I'm more excited than ever for this one. Not because I think it's going to be better, but because I get to finally relive the joy I had from last year's Hedgehog Month. I've never felt happier doing content for YouTube than any other, doing Hedgehog Month. It was the best. So, last year was obviously the start of Hedgehog Month, so we had the first ever Hedgehog Month episode. And the episode was my history with Sonic. So I thought for the first ever episode of Season 2, which is 2019 edition, I thought what we should do is we'll do what I think is next for Sonic. What I think is going to happen with him, what I think the next couple of games might be, and basically will he live to tell the tale, if you understand what I'm saying. So, before we jump into that, we need to flash back to 2017? Yeah, 2017, I had to think then. Flashback to 2017 to a little game called Sonic Mania. So, mid-2017, the Sonic fanbase was treated to this gem known as Sonic Mania, which, forgive me for the honest reviews I made of this game last Hedgehog Month. I said this game was bad. I had no idea what I was talking about. I played it once and stopped. That was my mistake. But I've played it now over 20 times. I love Sonic Mania to death. Anyways, so, flashback to this game. When this game came out, it took the Sonic community and the world by storm, quite frankly, because people got to experience the nostalgia goodness of 2D classic Sonic from the 90s again, that pretty much most people's childhood, and introduced a younger audience to classic Sonic as well. I'm sorry if I start like dancing and bopping. I love this song. Right, I'll stop. So yeah, this basic. I can't stop. Anyways, so this game basically took the world by storm. Everyone loves it. It's praised by critics, and the people behind it was Christian Whitehead, his team, and Headcanon. And they did a fantastic job, and Christian has said that he would love to work on more Sonic projects. Now this has put a lot of people in the theory that there's going to be a Sonic Mania sequel, which I really do believe there will be a Sonic Mania sequel at one point, simply because of how well this game performed, and everyone wants one, so there will be one in due time, I think anyways. But the real question is, when and why? And the place to do it, I think, is not this Christmas, but next Christmas. Or even at the start of the launch of next-gen consoles, because it will be a great launch title, and it would sell like that. Everybody will buy this game. Whether that's because they wanted the sequel, whether they didn't play the first one. Everyone will buy it. Literally everybody will buy it. Who loves Sonic, who wants to try it out, whatever. So, that's the best time to capitalize on the market. But to impress the fans, they need to push something out quickly, because over the past 3 years, we've had Sonic Mania, which was golden. We had Sonic Forces, not so golden. And then after Sonic Forces, things went quiet. And then we got Team Sonic Racing, which was quite good. I will admit, I did enjoy my time with Team Sonic Racing, but now it's just on my shelf, never to be touched again, to be honest. Once you play it a couple of times, it just loses its value, in my opinion anyway. I'm not having much fun with it because CTR came out and just destroyed it, but we don't have much news on Sonic now. That's basically, like, the Sonic franchise is just, at the moment, in limbo again. They went from a successful release to a not so successful to a mediocre release. So now the franchise is in limbo, which is shocking, to be fair, because they had, Sonic Mania looked like it had it out, they had it planned, but unfortunately not. So, what's going to go on, I think, personally, right, this isn't just, this isn't just me who's thinking this, there's a couple of other people who think this as well. What we think is going to happen is they will make the next big modern Sonic title for next year, and it will probably be a follow-up to Forces. Like, they'll keep the story going, but they'll improve on the formula and whatnot. They'll make the game look better, hopefully, because Sonic Forces compared to Unleashed and Generations just looked trash, and it was on better hardware. Well, some of it looked trash. But with that aside, what we can now just say is, will they remake old games? Because if you notice that all these franchises, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, even Bubsy, like, they're all bringing back past icons. Even Resident Evil 2 got a remaster, which is understandable because the game's great. But all the old games are being remastered, and they're pretty much all good. Like, whether that's the Insane Trilogy, Reignited Trilogy, Bubsy 3D Strikes Back, whatever it's called, CTR, Resident Evil 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake next year as well. Everyone's excited for that. I know, I certainly am. So basically, the gaming market at the minute relies on first-person shooters, Battle Royale, and remakes. So what will Sonic Team do? Because they don't want Sonic to hold a gun, and they don't want to have a repeat of Shadow, what they will do is they'll remake Sonic Adventure. A lot of people have said that it's going to happen. What's his name? Izuka said he wants to do it. So what I think they'll do is they'll get Christian Whitehead and his team on the Sonic Adventure remake alongside with Sonic Team. So it basically can't go wrong. And if they actually do this, then I think Sonic Team is going to be in a golden place to capitalize on not only the market but their fans. They will regain the trust of fans after the fuck up they had with Sonic Forces, which is genius. They need to redeem themselves because Sonic Forces was pretty bad. But that aside, once again, what we can say for sure is that the next Sonic game is most certainly going to be better than Sonic Forces. Whether that be a remake or a completely new title, it will be better than Sonic Forces. I hope. But I have high hopes for Sonic for these next 5 years or so. Well, actually, there is one thing that is stopping Sonic's success. The movie. Now, the movie, when the trailer first came out in April, it got serious backlash to the point where they went back to the drawing board with Sonic himself. And now that the redesign is basically done, we're just waiting for it to be implemented into a couple of more scenes, and then we're getting a trailer apparently within the coming few weeks. And I'm very, very nervous because the first trailer, Sonic looked weird. But in some shots he looked pretty decent, but overall he looks weird. His proportions were off and everything. Jim Carrey's Eggman looks alright, I'll be honest, it looks pretty decent. The plot just sounds ridiculous. Tom the Cop, or whatever his name is. Ben Schwartz does a surprisingly good Sonic, I'll give him that. But other than that, the Sonic movie just looks like it's going to be seriously average or bad. And if they can somehow pull it off to make it one of the greater video game movies, then props to them, because no one thinks they can do it. I don't think they can do it. I don't have faith in this movie. I'm just going to go see it because I'm a Sonic fan. That's the only reason I'm going to go see this movie. I mean, I know it's going to be bad. I saw the trailers to Detective Pikachu, and I knew it wasn't going to be bad. I went to the cinema to see it, and hurrah, it wasn't bad. Because the movie had potential, and it looked great. This film just looks really bad. But in terms of the other market they can capitalize, obviously, like I said, they'll just have to focus on remakes and remasters. Now, what they could do to treat the fans is remake the Adventure era, which is Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Heroes. Now, I don't think they'll do this, because while we have Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 on PC and last-gen consoles as HD ports, we don't have them as remakes. And if they will remake any of them, they'll do Adventure 1, just because Izuka wants to. They won't do any of the other ones. But if they did do it in like a combo pack like they did with the Crash and Spyro remasters, that would be great as well, because it will bring back a lot of fans from the PS2 era, because Sonic Heroes is a lot of people who I know's childhood game. It was my first ever video game, so that I'd be over the moon if it was getting a remake. And I will have some Sonic Heroes content to come for Hedgehog Month as well, just to celebrate that. But besides that, Sonic isn't going to go anywhere in these coming years. He'll fall down to mediocrity and meme status again, like he did with Sonic Boom in 06. But that's it. Like, when the Sonic movie comes out, there's going to be memes galore. And after the Sonic movie, when it comes to games, not really, no. The Adventure remake, if it happens, which I strongly believe it probably will, then Sonic Team will be basically in the spotlight again, and Sonic will be one of the top icons of the coming, not decades, but the coming couple few years that are on the horizon, I'd say. Maybe the next 3 to 4 years, if Adventure does get a remake that constantly gets supported. If there was to be a new Sonic game, they will return to the boost formula one last time, and then they'll change it, because we've had the boost formula for over 10 years now, and we've only had 4 games that feature it prominently, which is, it's weird, because the Adventure formula stuck around for 5 years straight, with Sonic Adventure 1 to 06, and then after that it was just the boost formula. Before that obviously was 2D, which never changed. But now they're just capitalising on bringing classic Sonic back into the mix, or implementing 2D into 3D, which is... it's a bad move, because while Unleashed did have its 2D segments, they were good. They were still exhilarating. Generations did them decently, but not much. Colors did them alright, even though 80% of the game was 2D. And then Sonic Forces may as well just be an auto-scroller with some 2D segments. It was bad, the way they handled Sonic Forces gameplay and execution, but obviously it's out now, you can't do anything about it. But to conclude, I have high hopes for Sonic. I think after the movie, he will fall into a state of limbo, out of mediocrity. But then after the movie, the adventure remake will more than likely happen, or they'll make a game or something to capitalise on the movie, which I mean, God forbid they don't. But if they do, then if it's alright, I suppose it won't be that bad. But after that, really, Sonic's just going to be a laughing stock. But when the movie has finished its time to be a laughing stock, like Boom and 06 had their time, I think that the franchise could potentially be at an all-time high if they redo Sonic Mania 2, they remake Adventure, and they port Unleashed onto current-gen consoles. Sega say they've lost the code for Unleashed, but that's bullshit, because they've managed to port so many old games that they would have lost the code for before Unleashed. So Sega's bullshit in there. They're not trying to capitalise on the market with Unleashed, because when Unleashed came out, it was slammed by critics for the Werehog and stuff. But the fans love it now for the daytime segments. They don't care for the Werehog, they'll just play it and breeze through it. But because Sega thought the Werehog was a good idea, probably, and they're ashamed that it didn't perform, then that's probably why they're not going to port it, but I don't know. So before I end off this video, sorry for that cut by the way, I just want to share with you guys basically my fandom with Sonic by showing you my current collection as it stands, not to flex or anything, and just tell you a little brief bit about the history of Sonic, not with me personally, a little bit about that, but mainly Sonic's history and how I think it has unfolded. So obviously, to start, you've got the old school games from the Sega Genesis days / Mega Drive all the way up to Sega Saturn with these, which is essentially just all the old games that the way I play the old games on the collections on the PS2 and GameCube. Well, obviously I have them on PS2. This doesn't count, but yeah. So obviously you've got the old Genesis games from, obviously the Genesis. After that, which was my first ever Sonic game, was Sonic Heroes. This is one of my favourite games of all time, and it has been for a long time, and it probably always will be. I love this game to death, and I can't see anything stopping me from loving it anytime soon, to be honest with you. But obviously after that came one of the shitter Sonic games in a while, being Shadow the Hedgehog, if you can count that as a Sonic game. I mean, it's got Sonic in it. Obviously, noticeable difference between GameCube and PS2 version is performance. The GameCube Sonic games did tend to perform a bit better than the PS2 ones for some strange reason, but it's just how it works, I suppose. So Shadow the Hedgehog was a bit of a letdown, but after that letdown came another letdown, which was Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. It's renowned for its bugs and glitches and how no one likes it. And after that, they decided to take an even stranger turn. With the storybook games being obviously Secret Rings and Black Knight. I hate Secret Rings. I despise it. This is my least favourite Sonic game yet. I prefer Sonic 06 over this. I prefer Sonic 06 over Shadow the Hedgehog, for Christ's sake. But this game, I have a soft spot for. I remember I saw it in the shop one day pre-owned when I was about 9 or 8. I begged for my parents to pick it up for me, but obviously I left my cash at home and they said you have to use your own. So I came back the next day and grabbed it, and I was over the moon. I have a soft spot for Black Knight, and I do quite like it. But after Black Knight, they seem to get back on track with Sonic Unleashed. Obviously, there's two different versions to Sonic Unleashed. There's the HD version, and then there's the lesser HD version, basically the low-res version, not counting the mobile version. So PS3 and Xbox 360 are the same. Wii and PS2 are the same. I'm yet to own it on PS2, but I want to, just to fit in the collection. this game is phenomenal. I love Sonic Unleashed, the HD version anyways. After Sonic Unleashed came the racing titles, and the racing titles have had a rough spin, you could say. First, I'm going to start with this, which was the first Sonic racing game I ever owned, being Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing on the DS. And I think the DS version is quite good. People say it's bad, but I like the DS version a lot, probably because I have nostalgia for it, to be fair. Obviously then I later owned the PS3 version, which I was over the moon for again, because I remember playing this game for the first time, and I loved it. I still do love it today. After that you have Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, and again another fantastic racing game, I love it to death, and for some reason Wreck-It Ralph's in this game. And then we have the newest entry to the series, and the racing series, which is Team Sonic Racing. I got this on day of release from pre-order, and I liked it a lot at first. I loved Team Sonic Racing in the first 2 weeks of it coming out, but now I don't play it at all, which is disappointing to say the least, but oh well. And another racing game that I don't own the full series because I don't want to buy free riders because I don't own a 360 and don't plan to, but I might eventually just to slot it in. But the only Sonic Riders game I own is Zero Gravity, and this is my favourite one, surprisingly. A lot of people give this one slack, but I quite like it, probably because I grew up with it again. Sonic decided to then go down a strange route of RPGs with Sonic Chronicles, which is a game I used to love as a child, but now not so much. I completed this game at least 7 times during my youth. Then we have Sonic Colors on the DS, which was the first version I owned, and then the Wii version. Big surprise, I've only owned the Wii version for less than a year. I know, I'm a Sonic fan, and I've only just basically picked this game up. I picked the game up and I left it a bit, played it on the Wii. I finished it within 2 days, and I was quite disappointed. A lot of people said the Wii version is a lot more superior to the DS version, but I don't know. The DS version is good, but the Wii version is good as well, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, it feels really short and really underwhelming. Then the Sonic Generations, and again, I owned the handheld version before I owned the console version, because I didn't have a PS3 at the time, but I had a 3DS. And I remember unwrapping this on Christmas Day. Again, I was excited as hell. I finished this game so many times with all the collectibles and everything every time. I love the online card system that this thing has as well. We can customize your character card, whatever it is. I thought that was quite nice, and I still use it today. But Sonic Generations 3DS, people say it's bad. I like it. But then obviously this Generations on console and PC, phenomenal. Easily one of the best Sonic games to date. And then we have a little gem, once again, because I didn't buy a Wii U, because who buys a Wii U for Lost World and Boom. Then we have Sonic Mania. Oh my god, this game is beautiful, as well as its box art. Sonic Mania is a gem of today's standards for gaming. And then we have Sonic Forces, which is a game I've slated a million times on this channel, and I'm not going to go over it. So, as well, I do own Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 on both console and PC as well. So where do I think Sonic's going next? Well, just to take some games off of this stack, because I'm an idiot and probably should have organised it a little bit. I'll keep these out because I'm going to make a comparison to them. You can go over there, as can you. What else can go? You guys can move over. I'll keep you here. Okay. Put you here. Sorry, I'm taking my time a little bit. I'm just trying to make sure. I'm just trying to make sure it's all good. Okay. So, what do I think's next for Sonic? Well, to put it simply, I think they're going to return to Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Generations boost formula for one last game. Not the colours formula with the wisps, the grab rings and smash enemies formula. I think they'll return to that for one last game and make it the best one yet. I hope, anyways. And if most of you have noticed, Sonic Forces tried to emulate Sonic Colors for some bizarre reason, which really didn't work. I think they will definitely make a sequel to Sonic Mania, and I really hope they do. But as well as that, they will definitely make another racing game, because these things do capitalise the market. And I'm not going to count the Mario and Sonic spin-offs. But there's one game I really want to see either remastered, a sequel, or some sort of, game in the style again. It will never happen because they don't want to make sequels to old games, as I've noticed. They won't remaster it because it doesn't have enough love in the fan base as the other adventure games. But I really want to see a remaster to Sonic Heroes, or any sort of follow-up or with the same game style. I love Sonic Heroes to death. I can't express that enough. I'm like Remy de Remy. I'm a weird guy. I love Sonic Heroes, and I quite like Sonic 06. He loves it, but I only like it. But Sonic Heroes brings me the purest form of joy, and I can't wait to play it for Hedgehog Month. That's just that, easily being said. Boom. So, that is what I think of the Sonic series so far, and where it's going to go. I think it's in a dodgy place at the moment, but if the Sonic movie manages to bypass the meme community, and Sega manages to pull out another game within the same year that is actually good, then Sonic could be at the top of his game again, and potentially outweigh Mario in terms of the market. But that might be difficult, because I think Nintendo will probably do an Odyssey sequel in the very near future, or capitalise on 64's nostalgia and remake it in some shape or form, which in that case Sonic's just going to be a dead icon again, which I don't want to happen, because Sonic's been a part of my life for essentially 15 years now, and I'm eternally grateful for that. I love this dude to death, and I don't want the franchise to die out anytime soon. I want to see it at least live on for another 2 or 3 generations of consoles. Then I think would be a decent time to put Sonic to bed, if they can sustain the quality anyways. But other than that, thank you for tuning into the first episode of Hedgehog Month. I know it was a bit of a boring one, but I just wanted to do something similar to what I did last time. So if you want to know a little insight on what's going to go on this year, I've got honest reviews planned, which I'm really hoping to get done quick. I have gameplay videos to do, mod showcases, fan games, and a bunch of other stuff that is similar to last year, as well as songs and maybe an art video. So fingers crossed with that one. Maybe an animation or two. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning into the first episode of Hedgehog Month 2019. It's going to be a great month for me and you guys, I hope. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, peace out, and have a wonderful start to the month.